The Rainwater Killer, Episode 17, a Haunted Library exclusive series, and a Halloween special episode.
Yeah, this Frank. Hey, Jimmy. Oh, hanging in there. I'm up here in the room right now. Let me step outside. Hold on. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, it's hard to get away from. It's all over the news up here too. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody in the hospital's talking about it. I can't get, I'm down here, but yet I'm still up there in ways. It's insane. Hey, yeah, I got your email. It's quite a counter you had with Sullivan. You need to be careful. You know that anytime you do that, there's going to be an element of danger involved when you get in somebody else's yard and their property. And you've been doing this a long time. Seems like that was a close call. I want to keep him under surveillance still. He's a strange guy, but that don't mean he's our guy. But he's a person of interest, and we need to keep him under surveillance. So keep doing what you're doing, just be careful. I don't want to be out here worrying about you. We don't pay you enough to be getting killed on us. Yeah, so you went to the meeting this morning with him? Okay, good. I appreciate you attending those, even though you're not a part of the department. Larson wasn't there. Vacation? So we got someone out with a crossbow in the park shooting people. Nobody's seen him, and Larson's on vacation. I can't get a hold of him either. I've tried to call him and text him. I haven't gotten a hold of him in 24 hours. Well, that's not the way that's not the way we're going to do things. We need all hands on deck. There's a time to take vacation. This is not the time. Do me a favor. Run by his house and see if you can find him. Don't knock on his door or nothing like that. You don't have his number, do you? Yeah, just run by his house. You know where he lives. And just send me a text. If he's there, I'll make sure I get a hold of him. Me and him need to talk. Okay. All right, Jimmy. Yeah, I'm gonna talk it over to Lori. We're gonna see what we're gonna do. I'll know in the next 24 hours what my near future holds. So you guys are in my prayers up there. Hopefully we'll be seeing you soon. Yeah. I'll get back to you tonight on that, okay? All right. Thanks for the call, man. Bye.
One day after I'd left New York, 49-year-old Mark Hilberg, a prominent attorney from Manhattan, had been shot through the head with an arrow from a crossbow at Pump Station Park. Lutz and Keene had almost simultaneously called me, informing me. It was nauseating, but I figured I wouldn't have any peace or quiet from this sorry bastard and his ruthless killing spree. I'd been in Arkansas now less than 4 days, and all hell was breaking loose in New York. And after Keene's call, I told my daughter I needed to get some fresh air. I stepped outside. Today was Halloween, and it was cold and raining. I went to my car and turned on the motor, warming it up. I took a deep breath, looking out the rain-spattered windshield when my phone rang again. It was an anonymous call.
Hello, Frank. You know who it is. I'm the man you're chasing. I'm the man you long for. I want you to meet me somewhere, just you. If you come by yourself, you can have me. If you can find me. But if you bring other people, I'll kill you all from a distance. This is between you and me. But see, that's just the thing. Because I'm no longer in New York. I'm over here with you. Meet me at 2302 Ravenwood. If you bring anybody, I'll kill them all. 2302. That's in Bentonville. Come inside. Don't you tell a soul, or I won't even be there. I'll be watching you. From the time you leave the hospital to the time you drive to the house. Park your car and come inside.
I gritted my teeth, speeding out of the hospital parking lot, heading towards the address. Adrenaline shot through me like a cannon as I drove. I made sure my Glock was loaded. I sent a text to my friend and fellow detective, who I had worked beside for 15 years, James Netherton, to stand by, just in case I may need him. This time I would not make the mistake of not telling anybody where I was going, as I informed him of the address, though I didn't tell him why I was headed over there. If I were to get shot, at least somebody would know where I had died. But I wanted to do this alone, just as this crazy fucker had instructed. I didn't want another man to lose his life because I had drugged them to the scene of a silent killer who was far beyond our surveillance. I arrived at the house in less than 15 minutes, which was across town from the hospital. It was a nice house, probably in the neighborhood of around $400,000, and it appeared to be 3 levels as it sat on a steep hill. The entry-level front door would be considered the first level, with the floor level or the bottom level built on the hill, and the top level upstairs. I wasn't surprised to not see a car parked in the driveway. That would be a fairy tale ending. Too easy. No, this was very strange. I was called to this house to be killed. There wasn't no in-between. If he had in fact kept his word, he was inside, and there would be no escape aside from windows or, of course, the front door, but I would have to be totally on a different level of the house for him to sneak out. And what would be the point in escaping? He had called me here to settle a score. This guy wanted my ass as bad as I wanted his. I pulled into the driveway and killed the ignition, nerves causing my hands to shake. Never before in my tenure as a police officer had I actually physically trembled from anyone or any experience, but this wasn't like anything I'd ever experienced before. This guy I was after was nearly inhuman. I held fear, but my courage outweighed any fear that might have overtaken me in that moment, in that car. I didn't want to die. I had so much to live for. My daughter needed me, New York needed me, and the victims' families needed me. I boldly got out of the car and stood, the rain chilling me. My underarms were damp with perspiration. I had a lot to think about on the way over here. My hand on my gun, I scanned the windows on all levels that I could see. Blinds appeared to move on the top level. Somebody was in this house. Moving on pure adrenaline, I moved towards the front door, crouched and ready. The street behind me was empty, void of traffic. It was just me and him, if he was in here. It was 5 p.m., and the sun was setting fast, making this house creepier than it already was. I turned the knob, pushed the door open, and quickly squatted, my gun aimed. My pants were tight, and the move was not as fluent as I would have liked. I saw nothing inside but a nice house. Directly to my right was the staircase for the upstairs bedroom. The living room was huge with a triple tray vaulted ceiling. I could tell that the plush carpet had just been laid. The house was dead silent. That new home smell filled my nose. I slowly stood, my gun aimed in front of me, my right hand holding, my left hand supporting my right wrist. The kitchen was beyond my sight and off to the right. As I entered the living room, I closed the front door. I could see a hallway leading to the left, most likely leading to a master and a possible office room, and probably the downstairs as well. My nerves were back again, but I was trying to keep them in check, as I was in pure fight or flight mode, survive or die mode, kill or be killed mode. I took a quick look behind me, envisioning a silent killer descending the stairs and shooting me in the back of the head, my brains blowing all over this nice house. It was a chilling thought, and a reality that others had already met. I could hear the wind outside and the rain against the large windows of the home. I had a choice, being on the middle floor of the home, with rooms below me and rooms above me. I could either check out this level, or pick one of the two above or below. Creeping into the kitchen first, I tried to pay attention to blind spots and not how nice this house was. The kitchen was custom with state-of-the-art appliances. I decided to stay put for a moment. Every inch forward felt like it could be the last step of my life. Paranoia and fear came flooding back now, and my arm began to tremble. The gun began to slightly wobble. God damn it, Frank, get it together. The kitchen, like the living room, was huge. There were 2 doors. One led to a pantry and one led to what looked like a garage. I kicked open the pantry door, not making any effort to keep my presence secretive. He already knew I was in the house. He had watched me walk in. I had felt his eyes. A chilling noise came from upstairs. It had been a whisper almost, but just loud enough for me to pick up. It had carried throughout the whole house. If he were in fact upstairs, one of us was going to die tonight, because I did not see this guy being taken in alive. I slowly headed towards the front door where the staircase was, keeping my eye on the hallway that assumedly led to the bottom level. My eyes darted around everywhere, scanning everything I possibly could. It felt like I needed eyes in the back of my head, as every few seconds I would turn to check my back. Before going upstairs, I checked all rooms in the entry level. All closets and all corners were clear. Now there was only the upstairs that I needed to check, where the noise had came from, and downstairs too. Now back at the front door, I looked up the stairs. I could easily make it up there silently with the type of carpet that had been put down. Don't go upstairs, Frank. Go to the bottom level. The sound was meant to trick you. A wave of emotion swept through me as that fleeting thought zapped me back into reality. I felt happy to be alive. I felt loved, and I felt level-headed again, and I had felt less fear. The thought had served as a premonition that had I went upstairs, I would have either been ambushed from behind or snuck up on, because my intuition was telling me this man was on the bottom level now, and that would at least make it a fair fight. He had somehow thrown his voice. I carefully walked back to the hall that led to the downstairs. Unlike the stairwell leading upstairs that had daylight seeping through the front windows by the door, this stairwell was dark. There was a switch at the bottom, but I did not use that as I descended the stairs slowly. Chills and nerves returned once again, and my armpits were drenched in sweat. At the bottom, I re-gripped my gun, scanning every inch in front of me. This area opened up to a large game room that appeared to have a bathroom. The room was just huge, with big open windows that looked out to the backyard, which was wooded and shady. I could see the rainfall as the trees drifted in the October breeze. It was a nice view, but I could not fully appreciate it. Not in this moment. I moved closer to the bathroom door that was closed. Every ounce of intuition I had within me told me that my man was behind this door. I stared at the door, and I stared some more, unsure what to do next. But before I could turn the knob, the door began to slowly open. My heart pumped as adrenaline blasted through me. I jumped back and aimed, ready to fire. I looked up to see 2 pairs of eyes stare back at me behind the cracked door. They matched the eyes of the Rainwater Killer. Then I heard it, the ticking of a bomb. And it was the final seconds of the fuse. With no time to spare, I shot the window, which cracked the glass. I made a lunge for the window and jumped, my body and face catching the remaining fragments of glass. I hit the ground hard and began to roll downhill as the house exploded into flames.